Hello everyone, this is Laren here once again with my awful shaky camera. And I am here today to show off my haul for the month of May. Yeah, not a lot of stuff happened in terms of the whole manga community. There wasn't like a weird challenge I can go on a tangent about, so really, I guess I'll just start. Which, I'm gonna start with the stuff that isn't really manga, but it's kind of like in the same vein. It's light novels and stuff, so I'm gonna start with that stuff first. First thing that I have in my haul is I guess it's like a art book slash manhwa. It's somewhere in between those two things, and it is huge, and I really hope it fits in frame. And that is, let me back up here real fast, this is SQ Begin With Your Name. And this is the compiled edition of the webcomic Their Story. I forget what it is in, I think it's Chinese. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Chinese. But in English it's Their Story, and I had no idea that this thing existed. I was on Amazon, and Amazon's like, here's some recommendations similar to the things that you've searched for, and one of them was this. And I was like, holy shit, because I love Their Story. Their Story is beautiful, and if you can't tell by the cover, yes, it is kind of a yuri. There are other characters and there are other, like, relationships within, but these two, these two are so cute. I love them. And I'm so glad to have this. It has, I think, up to, like, strip 70-something, if I'm correct. Along with a lot of, like, full-color art. It also came with a pull-out poster and a postcard. So, yeah, it is a really nice volume, and I'm really glad that I have it in my collection. Like, holy shit. Alright, now we're gonna get into the light novels, which I don't really collect a lot of light novels. I'm not a big light novel person. Except this month, a lot of stuff that interested me came out, and I bought a couple of things that I figured that I might enjoy. So, might as well read some of those books without all the pretty pictures in them, maybe, possibly, you know, read. And the first one that I got was the novelization of Your Name, which I saw, like, the movie, I think last month, bawled my motherfucking eyes out. And of course I had to get the novel. The novel is pretty much just the movie. It's written by Makoto Shinkai, so there's not a lot of differences. It's just how it's portrayed in first person as opposed to, like, third person, how you view it in the movie. But it's a really nice read. I really liked it. If you like the movie, I definitely recommend buying this. It's real nice. I like it. The next one that I got was The Disappearance of Hatsune Miku, which, when I first heard about it, I thought it was a manga, but then I actually bothered to read the synopsis, and it clearly said that it was a light novel, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. But I haven't read this one yet, but I had to pick it up because it's Vocaloid, and you don't see a lot of Vocaloid stuff. And so it's kind of a novelty still, at least in the manga light novel world. So I decided to pick it up. I really hope that it's readable. I only have one other light novel published by Seven Seas, and it was okay. It wasn't a mind-blowing read. So I'm not really familiar with how well Seven Seas does their translations for light novels, but we're just gonna have to see. And finally, I've started to collect the Monogatari series, so I picked up this month Bakemonogatari Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3, which is a solid amount of reading, and I still haven't picked up Kizu Monogatari, and I'm pretty sure it's Nisei Monogatari that's coming out next month. So I've got quite a bit of catching up to do in terms of reading, but these are pretty easy to read. Like, I don't have a lot of time to read, necessarily, but when I do have some time, I blaze through. Like, I think I've only been able to read only a small amount, and I'm almost more than halfway done with Bakemonogatari number 1. So yeah, it just comes down to being able to, you know, siphon off some time to actually sit down and read a book. So we'll see about that. We're getting down to them new pickups, which I have a few. They make up about, I don't know, roughly half of my haul. And there's a lot of cool shit in here. And the first one that I have is My Brother's Husband by Genguro Tagame, who, if you are familiar with that name, then you know that this man mostly dabbles in porn involving big, burly men. He knows what he likes, and he makes a lot of it. And I do believe we have some of his works published in English, but it's obviously not my cup of tea. I'm not into big, burly dudes, so obviously I've never actually gone and looked for them. But this is his first safe for work title, I do believe. And it is absolutely 100% wonderful. I cannot praise this manga enough, and I can't believe more people haven't bought it so far. I really hope that people hear about it in like the upcoming months and actually get into it, because oh my god. So this manga is about this guy. I think his name is Yaichi. Let me look at the synopsis really quick. Yeah, Yaichi. And his daughter Kana. And this man, who is the husband of Yaichi's late twin brother. And his name is Mike. Mike shows up at their home, and he winds up staying there. He winds up getting invited to stay there. And the entire manga is about overcoming your personal biases and learning to get to know people that you normally wouldn't really interact with. And there are multiple times in this manga where I was nearly brought to tears. It is a beautiful, beautiful manga. And I really hope that more people hear about it, more people read it, because it is a beautiful story. And it's just a beautiful story that you don't normally see. Because usually when you have manga that focus on homosexual relationships, it gets kind of fetishy, just a little. And it doesn't really delve deep into like society as a whole and how people view people of who are a part of the LGBT community. You just see, like in Yuri, it's just these girls and they go to all-girls school and everyone's gay and everyone's like, oh, they're so cute, and everyone kind of accepts them, which is great, you know, whatever. But this takes a hard look at how it is in reality and how people have their personal biases and how they can be easily overcome just by looking at it from a different person's perspective. And I think there's just one other part in here that I really need to touch upon that isn't spoilery. And it's near, like, the end. And the little girl, I fucking love her because she just so readily accepts Mike for everything he is. And she is a pure beam of light and hope for the future. And she's sitting there and she asks Mike, so, in your relationship with my dad's brother, who was the wife and who was the husband? And Mike just kind of laughs and he's all like, well, we were both dudes, so both of us were the husband. And Kana's just all like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yes, there isn't, just that scene was just breath of fresh air to me. And I just love it. And I'm so glad that this is out, and more people need to buy it, and more people need to read it, because it is, it's a masterpiece. Next we have, this is gonna come right after I talked about My Brother's Husband, which is like a critically, that was my finger, a critically acclaimed manga with awards and shit. And this is gonna come off as like really fucking crass and awful right off the heels of that. But I got The Secret Devil-chan, which, if you are not aware, is a trap manga. I am trash. So, backstory behind this is I watched Fatal Ferret's Manga Haul for, I believe it was March, and this particular volume showed up, and I was all like, that's pretty fucking cute. And that was it. You can reel me in with cute art, and that's pretty much all you need to do to get me to buy the most toxic, awful shit on the market today. And this is one of them, and I won't be lying. I don't want to lie to you and say, like, I'm not going to continue to buy this series. It's so cute. The art is so cute, you guys. I have a problem. Next up, after that, we have Doren and Sun, which is a manga by the same author who wrote Orange. And this one is starting out to be kind of your typical shoujo setup. You got a girl, and you got like 2 potential love interests, etc., etc. But I do really love Ichigo Takano's art, so I can kind of look past it. I really can't wait to see where this series is gonna go, because Orange blew me the fuck away, so I don't want to judge this one right off the bat and think like, oh, it's just gonna be a typical shoujo, because I don't know where it's gonna go. It might go somewhere deep. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Next on my list, we have The High School Life of a Fidanshi, which, if you don't know what a Fidanshi is, it is the male equivalent of a fujoshi. And if you don't know what a fujoshi is, it is a female anime and manga fan who are particularly interested in homosexual relationships. So this is about this dude who really likes yaoi, and there were multiple times in this manga where I nearly laughed out loud. Just the way they translated it and localized some of the things that were said, and like the jokes were just really fucking funny to me, and I love it, and I can't wait for the next volume to come out. Next, we have a manga that I wasn't expecting to buy. Like, I was kind of interested, but I was planning on giving it the snub because I had other things that I wanted. And that is Delicious in Dungeon. Now, it is a really interesting plot, which it's like a cooking manga, but it centers around cooking monsters that you typically find in like a D&D style dungeon. And that's really fucking cool. That's a really nice concept, but I was originally going to pass up on it. Like I said, I had other things I wanted to buy, and I wasn't like, I wasn't really all that interested in it. But then I saw it at the bookstore and I flipped through it, and then my fate was fucking sealed when cute motherfucking elf alert. Base has to buy everything with cute elf in it. That's the rule. That's the golden rule. So I bought Delicious in Dungeon, not because of its cool eating monsters concept. It was because the elf character was just cute. Speaking of cute elves, we have a record of Lotus War Deedlet's Tale, Book 1 and Book 2. I've kind of had feigning interest in Record of Lotus War. Sort of. I knew it existed and I kind of had some interest in it. So I finally decided to start collecting it. I am in like zero hurry to finish it as fast as humanly possible. I'm just gonna collect it at my leisure. At the very least, I want to collect the entire series of The Grey Witch before Seven Seas puts out the novel later this year. But other than that, I really have no other goals. I'm just gonna collect this when I can. But I decided to start out with Deedlet's Tale because, fuck yeah, cute elves, and the artwork in this one especially is very, very beautiful. Just the way they draw everyone is just very, like, soft and elegant, and that's my shit. That is 100% my shit. And also, before anyone asks, yes, I am aware that the logos for these two are different. Just leave me alone, okay? Next, we have Hatsune Miku Bad End Night, which is the first in many, not the first, I guess Shawn now is the first, but this is yet another Vocaloid manga out of the many we're going to be getting this year. And it's pretty nice, it's spooky, I like it. Kind of interested to see where it's gonna go. It's kind of like a mystery, maybe a murder mystery, I don't know. Maybe if I, like, go online and just listen to the song, this is probably based off of I'll just get spoiled the fuck out, but, you know, maybe. After that one, we have Girls' Last Tour, which I've never heard of it. Like, I'll be completely honest, when I saw it on, like, the manga to be released for this month on Yen Press's website, I saw it and I was like, that looks pretty neat, and I got it, and I'm really glad that I did, because it's really, like, I really like the atmosphere in it, and I also really like that the artwork is, let me find a example. It's kind of like rough and sketchy. The backgrounds are kind of rough and sketchy, the characters are kind of rough and sketchy. That's kind of what drew me to Natsume Ono's earlier work, where it's all kind of rough and sketchy. And I really enjoy this. It really adds to, like, the lonely atmosphere that this book portrays. And it's just about these two girls just kind of traveling across this barren wasteland, and there's, like, no people. And it's just really... It's really calming. It's a very calming, very just nice manga to just sit down and read. After that, we have Tessa Rail, which is a standalone volume of short stories by Natsume Ono. I decided to pick, I don't know, I just like Natsume Ono stuff, and I decided to pick up, like, something that wouldn't really require a lot of effort to collect. And yeah, it's nice. If you like Natsume Ono stuff, I definitely recommend getting it. Oh yeah, the ink, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, the ink is actually brown, which is really interesting, and I don't know why that is, but that is pretty fucking cool. Up next after that, we have Paradise Residence. It's just a manga about girls who live in this dorm. There's no romantic subplots. There's no real actual huge drama. It's just kind of normal. It's a very pure, very straightforward slice of life. And there's no real stakes until, like, the very end. And I got Volume 1, which is really confusing because this is Volume 1, but at the very end of it they have Volume 0, which adds a lot of context to the stuff that take place in Volume 1, and I don't understand why they didn't put Volume 0 in front of Volume 1, but, you know, whatever, they're both in there. And then we got Volume 2 and Volume 3, which is the complete series. If you like your slice of life, I definitely recommend it. It's just about girls going to high school and living in this dorm. It's kind of a comedy. I got a few chuckles out of it. If you like your manga with a lot of conflict and a lot of, like, huge, like, plot elements, maybe not for you. Maybe not the series for you. And the big one on the new pickups for this month is my friend's Bio Mega, which is, yes, on my completion list for this year. And this was actually a gift, anniversary gift from my husband. And he was it was such a wonderful fucking gift because I was expecting him to get, like, a few of them. But no, he got me Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5, and Volume 6, which is the entire goddamn series. Dude just straight up bought me the entire fucking series for our anniversary. That's love for you right there, and that is another manga off my completion list. And it feels really good to complete something off that list. Very, very fulfilling, and I'm very, very glad to have this as a part of my collection, because it is a very nice, very wonderful series by Satomu Nihei. Loving that dark, very twisted vision of the future this dude has. I love it. And that's it for new pickups, and now we have continued series. And we're gonna start off with Interviews with Monster Girls Volume 4. Another soft and sweet addition to the Interviews with Monster Girls series. Like I said before, if you like your Monster Girls but like don't like how overly sexualized the genre tends to be, this is a nice little slice of life dealing with Monster Girls. It's nice. I like it. And then we have Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt Volume 3. Woo! Gundam! I actually haven't gotten around to reading this one yet. I got a lot of stuff, so I haven't really... It's low on the reading priority list, but I am gonna get to it eventually. Now this one... I got stuff to say about it, but first I want you to look at it, give it a good, nice little view before I tell you about why I fucking love this one. So I have Kaze-san and Bento, which is another volume in the Kaze-san and series. Now I'm gonna back out, and I'm gonna let you take a gander at this volume for like a couple seconds and try and figure out what is just... There's something off. What is off about this particular volume? Just give it a quick little glance. You might not be able to see it because my camera kind of sucks. Could you tell what it is? Well, I have the first volume here as a reference, and I'm going to set these two up right next to each other, and if you look very, very closely, they are stood up next to each other, and there, if you can see it, this book has been cut at an angle. It is an angular book. We are looking at a rhombus, friends. And not only that, but the manga in here is kind of sideways, and so a couple things have gotten cut off, but it is just so uniquely shaped and so fucking weird. Of course I'm not gonna throw it out. I'm trash and I love my misprints, and if this ain't the craziest misprint ever, like, look how much space there is. It's just so weird. When I got it in the mail and I set it up on my bookshelf, I was kind of like, the bookshelf must be weird because they aren't lining up. Kaze-san and Bento is kind of sideways. It's like, no, Kaze-san and Bento is just legitimately sideways. It is side fucking ways. I just think that's fucking cool. I love it. Next, we have the very, very cute Spirits and Cat Ears Volume 2. Again, I'm going to reiterate that I only got into the series because this artist, Miyuki Nakayama, draws her art kind of in the style of the late Koko Fujiwara. It's very cute. I like it. I like supernatural cute things. Like that mix. Very nice. Next up we got Nichijou Volume 8. Another volume in that series that I'm planning on finishing off this year, because it gets finished up this year. Not much to say about it. It's Nichijou. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, it's definitely not for you. It's one of those series that its humor is very, it's an acquired taste. But I definitely like it. It's definitely my kind of series, and I'm really glad that I finally decided to pick it up, and that I am continuing to pick it up. Ooh, next we have The Girl from the Other Side Volume 2. And this one, we learn a lot of, like, well, we don't really learn anything, just a lot of, like, mysterious kind of things are revealed to us vaguely in this volume, and it really makes me excited to see what happens in the next volume. Can't wait. Can't wait. This series continues to be very enticing, very wonderful. The art is beautiful. Can't wait for more. And then we have Magical Girl Sight Volume 2. I really like how Magical Girl Apocalypse, their covers are kind of uniform and they're all meant to look like each other. A Magical Girl Sight I figured was going to be similar, but this one looks like exactly nothing like the other one. I really like how colorful and bright and wild and energetic it is. Can't wait to see what happens next though. They're definitely setting up for something. I still haven't figured out how this is gonna relate to Magical Girl Apocalypse in some way. It'll be really interesting to see if it actually does. Next we have Kiss and White Lily for My Dearest Girl, which more centers around these two girls in the very front instead of the other two couples that we saw last volume. This series is really throwing all of the ships at us, really. I'm kind of curious to see if it's actually going to become like more cohesive nearing the end. Because right now it's more like just showing off all these cute girl couples, which, you know, is fine. I like them cute girl couples. I like that Yuri stuff. But I kind of would like to see it all come together in some way instead of being all like these little separate stories that happen to take place in the same school. I'd like to see them all interact in some way or another. That'd be pretty sweet. And then we have My Love Story, Volume 12. Oh, this one. Lately, I love this manga. This manga's great. It doesn't have a lot of stakes. It's just very lovey-dovey, very cute, very soft, very sweet. And most of the conflict is resolved right away and usually turns out to be like a big misunderstanding and so on and so forth. But this one raises... I won't reveal anything because this is volume 12 and it's past the anime, so big-ass spoilers, can't reveal anything. But this one really raises the stakes in our big main relationship, and I'm kind of worried. Kind of mad worried. I don't know if the series is over in Japan, but it definitely feels like we're coming to a conclusion here. And I am on the edge of my goddamn seat. Can't wait to figure out what the fuck is going to happen next with my babies. Next up we have Genshiken, second season, volume 10. Now, Genshiken's second season... How can I put this without sounding like I don't like Genshiken's second season? Because I do, because the plot's compelling, and I'm really excited to see where the series is gonna go, but I feel like it kind of lost the sort of spark that got me interested in the original Genshiken series. Because the original Genshiken series was just about weird nerd guys doing weird nerd things. And that was pretty much it, just weird nerdy stuff, and there was like eventually a romantic subplot, but it was really self-contained, and once it was over, it was over, and it was back to the weird nerdy things. Genshiken's second season is more of a romance of a bunch of girls and one guy being romantically interested in Madarame and fighting over who's going to get that dick. And I enjoy the story of Genshiken's second season, but I feel like it's kind of departed from what Genshiken used to be. Everyone's really attractive and pretty, except for when it's like meant to be like drummed up for comic relief. Instead of all these like regular dudes kind of just hanging out and chilling, everyone's just conventionally attractive, and all of the super attractive girls and the one guy are super into Madarame. And it's just the last couple of volumes have just been about that. Just been about them trying to figure out who Madarame is going to be romantically involved with. And I kind of miss Genshiken just being about weird, wacky nerd hijinks, instead of this weird, convoluted romance quadrilateral, whatever the fuck that's going on. I kind of like wish for the days of yore when Genshiken was a little more simpler and not a lot of drama, but it's good. I mean, I'm still collecting it, but I kind of wish the whole Madarame romance subplot wasn't the hyper-focus of the story. Alright, next we have monthly girls, Nozaki-kun. Another light-hearted, funny addition to the series. Not a lot I can say about it, just kind of there. Loving it. Can't wait for more of this series, yes indeed. Next up we have There's a Demon Lord on the Floor Volume 2, and I gotta admit, I really do like some fan service schlock. I don't have a lot of high standards when it comes to manga, honestly. I like to think that I do, but then I buy stuff like this and I'm genuinely compelled to continue to collect it. And I'm just a simple person and I got simple needs, and this girl is my favorite. This is my waifu right here, and I love her. She's great. And this volume in particular, I love it because there's a full color spread in here, and I'm going to show it to you at the risk of YouTube being all like, scantily clad women. But I love it because it's this character. Just look at them tummy rolls. Fucking love tummy rolls, you guys. Just give me an anime character who has tummy rolls and I'll be all like, instant fave. But yeah, I am total garbage and I love this series. This series is great, I love it. Fuck yeah. Next, we have Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Volume 3, and in retrospect, now that the anime is over, now that the anime's kind of gone through its thing, I like the series and I'm gonna continue to pick it up, but it doesn't have the same charm as the anime. The anime had just something very pure and something very nice going on with it, and this one just kind of feels like it's just going through the motions and the paces, and it doesn't really feel all that like it's trying to tell anything genuine outside of fun dragon hijinks, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. I think the last chapter in this continues after the anime, and so I do believe that the next one is going to take place. It's all going to be original content that we haven't seen before, so I'm genuinely excited. But I also know the hijinks that are going to take place in Volume 4 because I've seen spoilers, and it's not something I'm looking forward to. I won't spoil anything, but it kind of makes me feel icky. Next we have Bloom Into You, which this month's Yuri that we got from 7Z's, like the continued series, they both Bloom Into You and Kaze-san and are very fine. Probably my favorite Yuri releases we've been getting this year, and I'm really glad that they both got their second volumes got released this month. They're very, very enjoyable series, and Bloom Into You especially is a really interesting story, and it definitely treads a path that most Yuri we are seeing these days haven't really taken, because it's usually like two girls meet and they instantly fall in love and cute fun times. This one is actually taking a different route where this girl falls in love with her, and she doesn't really know what to think of it because she feels like she's never really been in love before and she doesn't feel those same feelings, and it's definitely taking a roundabout way that we don't really get to see, and it's very refreshing, Bloom Into You. It's very nice, and I enjoy it very much. We have Welcome to the Ballroom Volume 5, and we are definitely calming down from the tournament arc we saw in Volumes 3 and 4, and we are entering a new arc, and I really can't wait to figure out what happens, because we're introduced to a couple of new characters, and I can't wait to see, because it looks like they're hinting at a new character becoming our main lead's partner, and I can't wait to see like her backstory and what's going on with her, because there's definitely something going on with her. Next, we have yet another addition to the legendary editions of the Legend of Zelda manga. This one includes the Minish Cap and Phantom Hourglass. very cute stuff, the very cutesy Zelda series packed into this one. Next up, we have the third omnibus for Neon Genesis Evangelion, the Shinji Ikari Raising Project. And if you don't know, these are 3-in-1s, and this one contains volumes 7, 8, and 9. And I'm gonna go off on a bit of a tangent where I don't really understand the hate for 3-in-1 omnibuses. Like, I understand if it's like a personal thing, but they are an economical way for someone who doesn't have a lot of money to collect a series that has been long running and has a very large volume count. Like, I see a lot of people complaining about the Viz 3-in-1s that have like the really thin paper, but honestly, if you are someone who's just starting out and you want to collect, say, Naruto that has like 70 plus volumes all going for $10 a pop, getting a 3-in-1, which is 3 for the price of like 1.5, is a very economical way to collect the series. And I feel like people don't really take that into account when they kind of bash 3-in-1s, because it just makes collecting a series easier. And unless you're in it 100% just for aesthetics, which I don't understand people who are in the manga collection community who collect manga for aesthetics, there's really no reason to hate on omnibuses unless you have the money to get the single volumes. Fuck, I don't care. I don't care. 3-in-1s are great. And of course, my haul would not be complete without this month's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, with Whole Horse and the Emperor right there on our front cover. I'm really glad we're getting like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in its entirety in these really nice hardcover editions, but I really don't understand why Viz is putting so much space in between each volume. It's gonna be like way late. Like, it's gonna take forever to get to part 4 at this point. I just wish JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was on like a 2-month release schedule at least, but it's not, and it takes forever for the volumes to come out, and I just get impatient. And I just wish that we could get these volumes a little faster. Because part 3, it's a very beloved part. Like, I'm not going to diss on it, but it's not my favorite part. And all my favorite parts are coming up, but it's going to take forever to get to them. Because, Viz. And now we have 2 volumes that are kind of on the chopping block. I've developed recently a system where if a series doesn't like wholly impress me in 3 volumes, I drop it. Because I'm starting to run out of space, and I really can't devote my time and effort and room to series that I'm kind of only collecting half-heartedly. So the 2 series that are on the chopping block, that are both at volume 2, so they have 1 more volume to fully impress me or else I take them off my shelf, are Clockwork Planet and Anonymous Noise. Now, Clockwork Planet was kind of an impulse buy, so if I lose interest in it and I drop it, I'm not going to feel very bad. But Anonymous Noise, I had a lot of hope for it, and it was very stylish, like I said before when I bought it. It was very stylish, and I really liked, I liked the musical theme. It was really, really nice, but then volume 2, it just seems like your typical shoujo manga with a musical backdrop, and unless it pulls out something really, really cool in volume 3, I'm really not going to devote a lot of my time to it. Maybe I'll come back to it eventually, but it's a long series from what I've seen on like basic Wikipedia search. And if it's just going to be a manga that I collect just to collect, I'm not really going to give it the time. So yeah, these 2 both. If they don't impress me by volume 3, they're gone. And finally, for this haul of May 2000 and 17, we have Knights of Cydonia. Now, if you remember from my pointlessly long manga collection tour, I have volumes 1, 2, 3, 9, and 13. And I had a lot of spaces to fill, and this was a part of my completion challenge once again. And so I decided to just go all out this month and fill the rest of the spaces that I had in the series, because, you know, why the fuck not? And so some of these are support the industry, and I think it's like really like straight up down the middle, half and half with the ones that I bought, are both new and old library books, which were a struggle to, because this one I think, yeah, this one was also an old library book, but it didn't have like the annoying sticker on the spine, but there were so many stickers, so much Goo Gone I had to break out, so much, just so much TLC I had to give these books to make them look good on my shelf. So I got volume 4, 5, now 6 is probably the most weathered, like just to like go on a tangent, this one is probably like the most beat up. It's not like in awful condition, obviously, by like a quick glance it's obviously passable, but it's got, you know, text from the library, the spine is kind of bent, there's my camera's kind of shitty, but you can't tell, but there's creases on the spine. There's a lot of stickers there's so many stickers on this one, I didn't want to bother removing them, I just removed the one off the spine. So I got that. 7, 8, 10, 12, 11, oops, wrong order, and 14, which completes another series of my completion list. Yay! Just a big feeling of like accomplishment this month, definitely, with, even though Omega was a gift, it's still a thing off my completion list that I don't have to worry about anymore. And Knights of Cydonia, which has been sitting in bits and pieces uncompleted in my collection for years because I didn't really have the motivation, the drive to go online and just procure everything that I needed. So I'd really like to thank, fuck, who made the completion challenge? Was it, fuck, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong on camera, so I'm just gonna put on the screen here who made the completion challenge, and I would just like to thank them because it's really gotten me off my lazy ass, because if there's one thing that I'm afraid of, it's failure. So thank you for that. Anyway, that was my haul for the month of May 2017. I hope you all enjoyed it. Not a lot not a lot of things to say now that everything's been said and done. A lot of stuff coming out in June that I'm very excited about, and I hope that you all stick around until then. I might produce 1 or 2 videos this month for June, maybe, possibly. I'm still trying to figure out what those things even are. I'm not a very big intellectual, so I'm not really good at series reviews or first impressions, because I don't really know how to word myself like a smart person, but I will try at least to put out 1 other video, just, you know, fill space and time. But until then, I will be seeing you all in the next video. Goodbye.